Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. India Bloc leaders today flagged Supreme Court Judge Dipankar Datta's remarks against Rahul Gandhi, describing them as an extraordinary observation and unwarranted. The floor leaders of the parties in the opposition bloc met this morning and discussed Justice Dipankar Datta's remarks on Mr. Gandhi's statements on the India-China border face-off. Now, this was a bench of Justice Dipankar Datta and Justice Augustine George Massey, which was hearing a criminal defamation case against the Congress leader for his remarks during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. But what did Justice Dipankar Datta say? He said that how do you get to know when 2,000 square kilometers was acquired by China? What is the credible material? A true Indian will not say this. When there is a conflict across the border, can you say all this? This is what Justice Datta asked Mr. Gandhi's counsel. There is Abhishek Manu Singhvi. And he also said, in fact, Justice Datta also said that Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution does not permit anyone to say just anything. So, what we are asking today is because this was part of the oral observation, and if you look at the social media, Justice Dipankar Datta is trolled big time that, it's like a curb on the freedom of expression. The leader of the opposition needs to raise these kind of issues because they are in the national interest. People should know what the reality of the Chinese incursion is, and he's being trolled big time. Various judges, lawyers, people from cross sections have spoken against what Justice Dipankar Datta's observations have been. But are these observations really extraordinary? Are they unwarranted? Let's go live straight across to former Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, Justice Govind Mathur. So thank you so much for joining. And my first question, sir, is that what is your observation about Justice Dipankar Datta's statements which he made, and which was, of course, part of the oral observation on Rahul Gandhi's claims on the Chinese intrusion?
Very sad, painful, and very irresponsible statement by the court. When you are saying this is the individual statement of Justice Dipankar Datta, when a judge is sitting in court, there is no individuality. It is to be treated as an observation made by the court without having any foundation. A judge is not required to make such type of observations and such type of comments while sitting in court. This is nothing but absolutely irresponsible act on part of the judge sitting in the Supreme Apex Court of this country.
But why do you think that these were statements which he could have easily avoided, but even then he made those statements and he ensured that those statements are heard and heard very clearly by Abhishek Manu Singhvi. What do you think? What do you think is the reason he could have made that statement? What is the reason for that?
I can't say that what was the traveling in his mind and what was what he was thinking, but I used the term irresponsible in just few seconds earlier. It's just sitting in court, especially in the apex court, he should be responsible enough to understand that what the statement he is making while sitting in the seat of justice. I don't think this is an act. This can be expected from a judge of the Supreme Court. And what to talk of Supreme Court, even by at the lowest pedestal by a court of judicial magistrate or a munsif, this is totally unacceptable. You may have certain thoughts about any specific act. You may be a follower of a philosophy, but when you are sitting in court, it is only the constitution and the law concerned, nothing more than that.
But Justice Mathur, when you say that you might be a follower of a certain philosophy, are you hinting at the ideological leanings or some kind of a proclivity of Justice Dipankar Datta? Are you hinting at that?
No, I am not indicating that, but I will say that for a judge, the prime thing is the constitution. As a citizen of India, I may think several, I may keep my own opinion about several political, non-political, social acts, social issues. But when I'm sitting in court, At that time, I am a judge. I am abide by the constitutional provisions. I am abide by the law, and I should be responsible enough that what I am going to utter and what would be the consequences. You see, ultimately, the casualty is with our judicial system. I have just seen this all social media. Now there's a criticism of not only the judge but entire judicial system. That judicial system is bowing its head before the rulers. A photograph is there where judge concern is standing with two political persons. So
Yes.
great damage is caused to our judicial system by a Supreme Court judge by making a totally irresponsible statement.
Right. But do these statements also sound like, it may sound to me, but I'm wanting your opinion, that does it sound as if Justice Dipankar Datta is trying to curb the freedom of expression? He's in a way maybe trying to tell the opposition leaders that think before you say anything, or try and substantiate, authenticate what is always said in parliament. Now, please authenticate what you're saying. So, is that what Justice Dipankar Datta is also saying, Justice Mathur?
I don't think so. I think that it was just irresponsibility, immaturity of a Supreme Court judge. It's
No,
absolutely
but when you
immaturity of a Supreme Court judge. And
no,
just
but
wait a minute, you see, when you are asking a person who is in politics that why you have not spoken these, asked these issues, raised these issues in the parliament, and why on the social media, I fail to understand that why he will not ask on each and every platform. A person in politics, he will ask, raise all these issues in public and also in parliament, and whatever floor available to him, he will raise these issues. He or she will raise these issues. As a matter of fact, court should have confined itself to the merits of the case and nothing more than that. If you want to add something to that, then better to demit the office, come out and say whatever you want to say.
when you say that immaturity, when you say immaturity and it's an immature statement, so to believe that a Supreme Court justice can be immature is a little not convincing enough, because a Supreme Court judge is supposed to be a mature judge. If he's reached Supreme Court, that's because of the kind of experience and because of the number of years he's spent practicing, and as a judge, as a lawyer, he must have been. So he does realize the ramifications of the kind of statement he's made. So does it look like a deliberately made statement to you?
You see, if it was not immaturity, it was a deliberate statement, then that will be more serious allegation against the Supreme Court judge or against the Supreme Court. I want to say that yes, sometimes your belief prevails over your the responsibility given to you. May that be the situation. Uh, and when I'm saying immaturity, immaturity of an individual who should understand that he is sitting in a court and his individuality is nothing while sitting in the court of justice. Whatever he is saying, that is the voice of the forum to which he represents. And you are right, immaturity is not acceptable for a Supreme Court judge, but
Of
sometimes
course.
it happens. Sometimes individual prevails, and sometimes that individual fails to understand that what responsibility is attached with him.
What you have just said, one can read a lot between the two lines. Sometimes the belief prevails, sometimes the individual prevails. But the kind of pictures which we have seen of Justice Dipankar Datta standing with, there's a photograph which is doing the rounds on the social media where he's seen standing with Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde. And of course, everyone knows the kind of statements which Justice Dipankar Datta made during the VVPAT judgment, and similarly the Aligarh Muslim University judgment when it came. So whole lot of things are there, and there are a lot of question marks as well. And people are talking about his proclivity with the ruling dispensation. Now, and many times it becomes a very tricky situation whether you should speak about this for a judge, whether you should not speak this about a judge because he's a sitting judge. You need to be careful. These things, they prevail on your mind. And especially as a journalist, you've got to be very careful. What if there is a contempt case on you if you say something about a sitting judge? How does one analyze these statements of Justice Dipankar Datta? Because all people will say all sorts of things, but as a journalist, how do you think? I mean, I'm asking you for your suggestion that how should the journalists view the comment by Justice Dipankar Datta?
So, just few seconds earlier, I said that these are very sad and painful remarks. Uh, a judge should not utter these words in court. His philosophy, whatever he is thinking, his political leaning, that is all required to be used while casting his vote only. As a judge, he is not supposed to make any observation in the court. If he has made any observation, then yes, that is open to be criticism. And I have seen on the social media, people are criticizing. As a journalist, you can very well understand that what part is to be criticized and what not to be. As a matter of fact, if the court says that this is not the part of their judicial proceedings, then it is open for criticism. And that's why I stated in the beginning that while sitting in the court, whatever you are saying, that is not the voice of an individual. That is the voice of Supreme Court, and you should understand that you can't speak individually on behalf of the Supreme Court without recording that. Keep the courage to record that in your order. Make that a part of your order. Then all right. Otherwise,
No,
it is
but
not
you
open for
clearly,
you to make.
right. No, you
It
are
is not
right that
open for you.
very rightly you pointed out, Justice Mathur, that if you have the courage, make this as part of the official record. But that was not done by Justice Dipankar Datta. Uh, but since it was an oral observation, how do you ensure that this thing doesn't get repeated? Other judges don't do it. Who do you think should come and intervene at this kind of a precedent which has been set? Do you think the CGI can call Justice Dipankar Datta and tell him that please refrain from such kind of comments, or he will not say because he's just a fellow judge? Why should Justice Gawai get into this? What is normally the tendency?
I don't think any senior judge or Chief Justice of India can officially say all these things to a judge.
Okay.
Yes, and it depends upon what thickness they are having in their relations. They can advise to their brother judge, but so far as that, who will take care of these kind of statements? It is only the democracy. It is the journalists. It is the public at large that will certainly make. This is always open for criticism. If the behavior of a judge, it is open for a criticism if that is not in accordance with the settled principles of our judicial system. It is always open. You can't say that I will act contrary to the our settled traditions. I will act contrary to law, and then will sit in the glass room of contempt or otherwise. This is not permissible. In our
Right.
system, criticism, a valid criticism, a positive criticism, that is permissible.
I want to take each of the points which were mentioned by Justice Dipankar Datta and ask you a question. And the first line of the statement is that how do you get to know when 2,000 square kilometers was acquired by China? Now, what does this question really mean? Because there are umpteen evidences to show that there are satellite images, there are interviews of people, there are eyewitnesses who have seen the villages captured by the Chinese army. So, does it wreak ignorance on the part of the judiciary as well? I mean, to ask that how do you get to know when 2,000 square kilometers was acquired by China? What does this statement really show and project?
You see, I don't know what is the correct position. Media may be saying that 2,000 square kilometers, 4,000 square kilometers. Government of India is saying not even an inch of the land is in possession of China. We are not supposed to enter into this issue. But when the court is asking this question, without having a relevance to the issue before it, then that is not correct. Court,
Right.
yes, you see in open court there are several things happens. Judges ask several questions, sometimes relevant, sometimes irrelevant, but those questions should not run to the absurdity. You are questioning, you are asking, you are dealing with an issue relating to an order passed by a subordinate by a high court. Examine that on merits. Why to ask irrelevant questions?
No, but
Whether
Justice Mathur, there is also a feeling that, Justice Dipankar Datta has, in a way, I don't know if you could correct me if I'm wrong, that he has trivialized the position of the leader of the opposition, because Rahul Gandhi is just not Rahul Gandhi and a Congress leader, but he's a leader of the opposition. He has gone to Ladakh and various border areas, and from there he has also given interviews saying that, look, this is the Indian territory, how much of it has been captured, and whatever inputs he has got from various other sources. And on the basis of that, he has raised this question not only inside Parliament, but outside as well. But Justice Dipankar Datta yesterday said that why do you raise these issues on the social media and why not in the Parliament? Now, what kind of a statement is that?
you see the here the issue is with regard to the leader of opposition. I go one step ahead. If a citizen of India is asking something, he is raising the issues relating to occupation on some Indian land by China or by any other country. He can raise this issue at every place. If somebody is having any pain, they will file complaint, etc., etc., whatever that may be. But Supreme Court, so far as the Supreme Court is concerned, or any court is concerned, it is required to examine merits of that case and not that whether merits on that case is whether that amounts any kind of offense or not with regard to the truth that whether what part of land is occupied and what part of land is not occupied. This is absolutely irrelevant. And Mr. Gandhi is leader of opposition. He is holding a statutory office. He can ask this issue at the floor of parliament as well as on any other floor where he can raise the voice of public and the issues relating to our country, our nation. But even if a citizen, a, absolutely a person who is not representing any political party, any in the capacity of a citizen, if somebody is raising these kind of issues, he is well within his right. He can do that. Nobody can ask that why you are asking this question and what material is available with you.
Yes.
The material shall be asked by the competent authority, not by the court while dealing with whether any offense is made out or not.
Right. But apart from these statements, there was another statement which has riled a lot of people as to why Justice Dipankar Datta added this bit. He goes on to ask, after all these questions, that how do you get to know when 2,000 square kilometers is acquired by China? Then he asks, what is the credible material? And then he goes on to say that a true Indian will not say this. And to which Priyanka Gandhi today has, in fact, retorted back. A lot of Congress leaders also have reacted that he apparently Rahul Gandhi doesn't need a certificate from a sitting judge to show how Indian he is or the kind of Indianness he has. So this kind of a statement, called from a sitting judge, how would you see that? That an Indian would not take it.
if 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 I will be having any opportunity to ask the concerned judge, I will ask him, please explain me what is the definition of a true Indian. I don't know how he defines true Indian. I think a man, if he is he's raising certain issues, then his patriotism, his commitment, his dedication, that can't be questioned merely for the reason that he is asking certain things which are not palatable to a section of society.
If you look at Rahul Gandhi individually, now there are scores of cases across the country against Rahul Gandhi. And now a sitting judge making a statement like this. I was talking to somebody. In fact, there was comment on the social media as well that, Rahul Gandhi has always been projected as a pappu. I mean, though I find it very demeaning to use a word like that, for the leader of the opposition, but that's what BJP does, and it has been doing. So, again, there were comments on the social media saying that, this is Justice Dipankar Datta who's trying to prove that the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, still remains a pappu. Now, I mean, of course, this is a political comment, but these are observations which are coming from the people, and lots of people are writing about it. So, what would you really say on this?
I don't want to make any comment about any individual, but I believe that a leader of opposition, he holds a statutory office. He commands faith of crores and crores people of this country. He should never be treated lightly. He should always be taken seriously. His words carries importance. And in that way, may it be Rahul Gandhi or anybody else, if he is leader of opposition, he is to be respected. His words are given to adequate weightage is required to be given by the queries and questions made by him, the issues raised by him. These all are in national interests, if not otherwise established.
Yeah.
Here,
But
nothing is otherwise established.
absolutely. So, Justice Mathur, but what do you think are the big learning lessons, from statements like these? Of course, Justice Dipankar Datta has made these observations, and maybe these things will be forgotten again, except for 1 or 2 days of discussion, and it'll remain in the memories of the people that you have a sitting judge of the Supreme Court who made such an irresponsible and unwarranted statement, which was not required. But what do you think, as a former Chief Justice of India? What is your suggestion to the budding judges and to the sitting judges who are in the state high courts, who are in the Supreme Court? What would you like to say to them towards the end?
As a former Chief Justice of a High Court, I just want to say that a judge, a constitutional functionary, holds very important office. Before uttering a single word, he is required to think 100 times. He must understand that this is the era where your every word shall be quoted, shall be used, shall be interpreted in its own way. May that be part of judicial record or your oral observation. So be patient, be cautious, and be confident that whatever you are saying, that is correct, that is not going to cause any injury to your judicial system. You see, whatever just statement is given by a judge in this matter, that is causing huge damage to our system, its prestige. People are openly saying, I have seen the comments on social media. People are saying that he is not impartial, he is following a specific ideology. May he be or may not be, I'm not concerned with that, but judge of every court, may that be a constitutional court or any other court, he is required to be responsible. His words carries lot of weight, and though his word, he should not use his words so lightly. And if you think that the words used by him are necessary, then give complete reasons for that, record in your order. Or if that is not possible and you want to say that thing, then damn it, the office, come on and contest with this statement.
Right. But just before I wind up, a little statement on the verbal observations which normally the judges give. And many times, in fact, not only this particular statement, but many times the verbal observations of the judges are used politically and to further their own ends. Say, for example, the former judge of the Calcutta High Court who recently contested the Lok Sabha elections. And then likewise, there are many observations like these. So verbal observations, have they become political weapons in the hands of the sitting judges? Is there a tendency? I'm not saying it happens often, but is there a tendency, for these oral observations to become political weapons in the hands of the sitting judges?
You see, oral observations during heat of the arguments. Both it is a heat not only among the lawyers, as a heat because there is a triparty, two lawyers and the judge. So during the heat, certain words are uttered by the judges also. If those are the bona fide that is the bona fide utterance, nobody can use that. That is an anguish or observation by the court looking to the circumstances existing in the specific set of facts. But if somebody has intentionally said that thing, if somebody has acted just irresponsibly mentioned something, that is always open to be used or misused. I am
Ab-
I am noticing that this time whatever court has said, that is highly misused by certain sections.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Justice Mathur, for joining on the Federal. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.